It started with a notification, the kind that makes you groggy, annoyed, and a little confused. My phone screen lit up the dark room at exactly 4:04 a.m. White text on a black background. Upload complete. That was it. No app icon, no progress bar, just those two words. I swiped it away, thinking it was just a glitch, a weird bug from some app I hadn't used in months. I rolled over and went back to sleep, completely unaware that my life, my entire sense of reality, was about to unravel. The next morning felt normal. I made coffee, scrolled through the usual news headlines and social media feeds. It wasn't until I was on the train, trying to clear out some space on my phone, that I found it. Tucked away in my main storage, there was a new folder. I didn't create it. The name was simple, stark, and utterly chilling. Dream_archive. My thumb hesitated over the screen. Curiosity is a powerful, dangerous thing. I tapped it open. Inside were video files, dozens of them. The thumbnails were blurry, distorted messes of color and shadow. I put in my earbuds, my heart starting to beat a little faster, and played the most recent one. The video was chaos. It was like watching something through a warped, watery lens. But through the distortion, I recognized things. I saw the peeling floral wallpaper of my grandmother's old house, a place I hadn't even thought about in over a decade. I saw the winding, impossible staircases that only exist in the dead of night. I saw faces blurry, indistinct, but somehow familiar faces without names, whispering things I couldn't quite hear. These weren't just random videos, they were my dreams, the fragmented, nonsensical narratives of my subconscious, now stored as MP4 files on my phone. I frantically scrolled through the folder. The file names were simple timestamps: dream_03_15_02_45, dream_3_15_03_12. They corresponded with every night for the past month. An entire month of my dreams, catalogued and saved without my knowledge or consent. Who was doing this? How was it even possible? I spent the entire day in a daze, checking the folder every few minutes as if it might just disappear. It didn't. If anything, it felt more real, more solid than the world around me. That night, I barely slept. I tossed and turned, hyper-aware of the phone on my nightstand. It felt like a malevolent eye, watching me. Just as I was drifting off, I bolted upright, grabbing the phone. Nothing. I tried to calm myself down, telling myself it was all just a crazy, elaborate prank. A virus, maybe. But when my alarm went off, there it was. A new notification. Upload complete. And in the dream_archive folder, a new set of video files from the night before. This time they were different, longer, sharper. The audio was clearer. I could hear the muffled anxieties, the strange dream logic conversations. I watched a dream where I was flying over a city made of glass, and the sense of vertigo was so real I felt sick to my stomach. It was fascinating and horrifying in equal measure. My private, inner world was being extracted and archived. This went on for 5 nights. Each morning, new higher quality files. The blurriness was fading, the distorted audio sharpening into clear words and sounds. I started recognizing specific dreams I vaguely remembered having. The one where all my teeth fell out. The classic being chased butt cantron nightmare. Seeing them played back with such clarity was profoundly unsettling. It was like reading a diary I didn't even know I was writing. On the 5th night, something changed. The new video file was the clearest yet. The dream was mundane. I was just walking through a grocery store. But then, the perspective shifted. The camera pulled back, up and away, until I was looking down at myself, asleep in my own bed. My chest rose and fell with each breath. The moonlight streamed through the window, illuminating my face. It was a perfect, stable, angle shot. I felt a cold dread wash over me. This wasn't a recording from inside my head anymore. This was a recording from inside my room. My eyes darted to the file details, and that's when I saw it. Underneath the file name, in a small, crisp font, was a comment, a note from whoever or whatever was doing this. It read, "Quality improving, subject more aware." That was it. I stopped sleeping, or at least, I tried. For the next 3 days, I lived on a diet of caffeine and pure terror. I kept the lights on, played loud music, paced my apartment like a caged animal. My body screamed for rest, but my mind was a fortress. If I didn't sleep, they couldn't take anything. There would be no dreams to upload. I thought I was winning. I thought I had found a way to fight back. I was wrong. The uploads continued. The files that appeared were different though. They were just black screens with faint static-filled audio, the sounds of my own frantic pacing, the music I was blasting, the clicks of my keyboard as I desperately searched online for answers. They were recording my waking hours now. They were documenting my futile attempts to escape. The file names changed, too. They were no longer called Dream. They were now labeled Observation. I was losing my mind. The sleep deprivation was making me hallucinate. I'd see shadows move in the corner of my eye. I'd hear whispers that weren't there. My reflection in the mirror would sometimes seem to lag a second behind my own movements. The line between the dream world and the waking world was dissolving. I hadn't slept in 72 hours. My body was giving up. My eyes were heavy, my thoughts thick and slow. I was sitting on my couch, staring blankly at the wall, when my phone screen lit up in my hand. It wasn't a notification. It was an incoming file. It was downloading right now, while I was wide awake. The progress bar filled quickly, and then the file opened itself. The video player launched without me touching it. The file name was at the top of the screen. Dream number 021, LIVE. I stared at the screen, my blood turning to ice. The video was a live feed. It showed me, sitting on my couch, my eyes wide with terror, face pale from exhaustion. It showed the room around me in perfect, high-definition detail. The half-empty coffee mugs, the tangled charging cables, the laptop open to a forum about parasomnia. It was my reality, reflected back at me. Then, the camera in the video started to slowly zoom in on my face. On my phone screen, I watched myself watch the phone screen, a dizzying, terrifying feedback loop. As the digital version of my face filled the frame, a sound came from my phone's speaker. It wasn't loud. It was a soft, intimate whisper, as if someone was leaning right next to my ear. It said, "You don't need to sleep anymore." And in the reflection on the dark screen of my phone, just for a second, I saw someone standing behind me.